Rise and shine.
It's butt whipping time.
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Christian Peck-Dimit.
Do you want to keep this job? Shut up, listen, learn.
The region's only local sports talk show, discussing it all from the preps to the pros.
What time is it? Game time.
Simulcasting on AM 730 Fox Sports Tri-State, streaming online at nwksradio.net and the Rockingham app.
They are everywhere.
The Blitz is presented by the Insurance Agency, the Farmers State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
Pitch, and he hits it well down that left field line. Moving back is Fry. It's gone. Just cleared the wall and straightaway left field. A laser shot by Brendan Rodgers.
Culpepper, high fly ball, deep right center field, digs and Wilmsmeyer at the wall. It's gone! Culpepper on one swing makes it 6-2 Wildcats.
Velasquez blazes it deep to center, barrels back, it's over his head and off the wall. And Quintino round third, he scores. Blanco like lightning comes in to tie the game, and Nelson Velasquez head first into third with a triple.
The 2-1.
Shot to right. Tatis back pedals. He's underneath it, makes the catch. Velasquez tags. Here's the throw. Offline. Royals win. Nick Lofton comes through with a sacrifice fly. And the Royals beat the Padres 4-3.
Hey, good Monday morning, everybody. It is the Morning Blitz back again here on June the 3rd. Welcome to the month of June. We left you on the 31st, but we are here with you now in the month of June. We are officially in the summer. Well, not really officially in the summer months yet, but it feels like it. And with this week, if you haven't felt the summer temps, you're about to. It's going to get a little hot this weekend. That is for sure. I know, like 86 today. We've got some low to mid 90s coming up later on this week. Yeah, we've got some nice summer temperatures coming your way here over the next 5 days. But hope everyone having a great start to their Monday here. We're on until for the next hour here on 102.5 URock, AM 730 Fox Sports Tri-State. Of course, we're online, nwksradio.net, the Rockingham app, and of course, our lovely, beautiful faces on this Monday morning, streaming to you on the wide world web of Twitter/X, Facebook, and YouTube. Oh, man. Good to be back this morning. Christian, how was the weekend this weekend?
Weekend was pretty good. It did hit 90, at least here in Colby. Didn't sleep too well last night, but here we are. And not
any reasons for that, for the sleep of terribleness?
Great question. I'd love to blame the storm, but I don't think that was until after when I should have been to bed. I would love to cede some of my weekend time super quick to something I think is important. June is Men's Mental Health Month. The leading cause of death for men under 50 on God's green earth, the entire planet. If you're under 50 and you die as a man, the most likely thing that happened is suicide. It is the second leading cause of death for men in the U.S. under 45. That is ridiculous. As someone who has had, people I care about come up and say, I was going home on such and such a day and I was about to do, something he couldn't have undone. Don't make sure that no one else hears that phrase or has someone tell them that. Reach out to someone, a priest, a family member, a loved one, a friend, whoever it might be. It's Men's Mental Health Month for a reason. Make sure to do something about your mental health if you're struggling. But just wanted to throw a quick shout out because I think that's very important this June. Your weekend, not bad. I know the Volkmer household had a garage sale. How'd that go?
It was a busy weekend, and yes, Friday we were setting up, and we were only planning on being open on Saturday, but we were up and rolling on Friday, and some people started walking in, and we're like, oh, okay, sure, come on in. Sold some stuff Friday. Saturday we opened up the garage door, and we we were up very early on Saturday just for whatever reason. I don't know if because we were somewhat excited for it. I don't even know why. We were just up early for some reason, and we got out there and got everything going, and it was actually kind of a bit of fun. I know it was a lot of work, but it was actually kind of fun. We sold a decent amount of stuff. Where we live is kind of handy because we're kind of on a semi-busy street, so it helps with some of the foot traffic. But we had a lot of fun. Me being the sports guy and this being a very great weekend, fun for me with college baseball, I took one of my TVs and put it on top of the refrigerator and watched baseball while there was the garage sale going on off and on. So, yeah.
Somehow I should have guessed that was on the.
That's how I would do that. But yes, it was. We had fun. We had fun, and it was for being our first ever garage sale. I thought it went decently smooth. So I thought it went pretty well. So
I heard,
but it was a very busy weekend.
I heard a rumor that someone in this office got your lovely Bose. Was it a sound bar?
Yeah, I have an old Bose sound bar, and it's still at my house, and I have not received payment for it yet. So it's still mine until I receive the do-re-mi for that. So, but yes, someone in this office is. He also, by the way, went on garage selling, picked himself up a cool old payphone I saw. So shout out Joel Navarro.
He told me it is very authentic, still has the keys, still has everything. However, very heavy. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's something that if you know our ops manager here, Joel Navarro, you can guess that that's the kind of thing he would come away with from all these garage sales.
I just love the fact. I'll tell this story again because last week we were helping one of our other kind of people in the office move some things in Quinn, and Joel was over helping, and Joel and Quinn both talked about how they were minimalists. I was just like, really minimalist. I don't know if I believe that, buying all the payphone and some other stuff. So anyway, it's kind of it was intriguing conversation nonetheless, but it was overall a good weekend. And like I said, we're back and ready to roll here in the month of June, where we're officially in this, what I feel like are the summer months, even though summer doesn't really officially start until like the 22nd, I think, or 23rd of the month, something like that. So I feel like we're officially in the summertime months, and we still got stuff to talk about. Tell you what, we got a show ahead. Of course, it is a Monday, so that means we've got weekend losers, and also we've got weekend winners, which we will get to right now.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners.
Loser! You're a loser!
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
Want to be a winner, be a winner.
Weekend winners get us going here on a Monday, June the 3rd. What do you got for first winner of the weekend, CPD?
Yeah, weekend winners. First off, by the way, this does feel like summer months to a man who grew up in Michigan, because if it's in the 90s, Lord knows it's the summer. So this feels every bit of summer for me. But my first weekend winner is local athletes, specifically the local football players highlighted in a recent Kansas pregame article. There was a Sharp Performance Top Prospect Showcase in Salina Stadium last week. I believe it started on Tuesday, and I think there was sort of some stuff that happened throughout the week. But out of that group of 175 players, football players, that is, from across the state of Kansas, came to this showcase, got their stuff recorded, so to speak, sort of combine style, got a 40 out there and a jump and a vert and this whole thing. You do all your different little combine type things, and then of course you do some football as well. And out of these 175 total players who attended the showcase, Kansas pregame highlighted 7 of them as having sort of standout performances. Among those 7, 3 of them area athletes. First off, Colder Oldham from Lakin, Jackson Rumford from Scott City, and your new javelin state champ, Guy Tubbs, of course, a Colby Eagle. Very, very cool to see local athletes. Obviously, if we've said it once, we've said it a million times. It's not often that these big media outlets, even Kansas pregame, which is of course a Kansas specific place, will give these kids on the western half, this western third of the state, all that much, say, focus. And to have 7 kids highlighted for standout performances, and 3 of them being, if you want to count Lakin, it's a 2-hour drive, but we'll call it area. And
well, if you're going to count Lakin and Coulter Oldham, which is perfectly fine, he's a very good football player. You also should count Corbin Puga of Norton, who's also, because that'd be about a 2-hour drive as well. So there was a lot of, and also Ryan Schromick of Rollins County, I know, got some love on social media. The senior to be for Rollins County, he got some love. So yeah, I mean, it's great. I'm trying to think of how long this Sharp Performance Camp has been going on. I don't think it's been going on that long. I think it's probably only in its first 5 years of existence, but it is certainly becoming a bigger and bigger deal, specifically for more kids out here, because you're not going to get the love that you probably may deserve where you live right out here. You're not going to get the love because, first and foremost, you're out where, once again, the middle of nowhere. We've talked about that before. You're out kind of here in the middle of nowhere a little bit. And most people are going to consider you to probably not play, because you're in the middle of nowhere, you're not playing great competition. And so everything they see is kind of like, they're out there in the middle of nowhere. They don't play anybody. So what do we know? Who cares? But to go and put down some hard numbers at kind of a combine event in Salina against athletes, I should say bigger, but more athletes against bigger schools and bigger cities, Manhattan and Fort Scott and Eisenhower and all over the place, the Wichita stuff, come to this thing. And then you have the numbers that stand out. Then that kind of gets you on the track of possibly getting recruited to play football. And that's the thing that we're seeing a lot. Football is starting, because of technology and huddle and all this stuff, and X and Twitter and social media, you're able to kind of promote yourself as an athlete a little bit more and say, hey, I would, come check out my film. Here's a link. See my highlights, contact me here, so on and so forth. And so you can do that a lot more now with a whole lot more ease than what it was even when I was growing up, which, now graduating of class of 2007. So it was a while ago, but still it was, it's changed quite a bit. It's changed quite a bit. And so this is where you kind of have to go. You have to log the miles and go somewhere and put some, I believe this is kind of where the ball really got, if it didn't get rolling, it picked up a lot of pace for Lincoln Cure. And I think a lot of kids out here saw, well, shoot, not that, Lincoln's a phenomenal athlete. We all know that. But now they know, hey, let's go there. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can stack up. And, this is how you do it. And you go there, and sports in Kansas, has your information, ran for this much, had this many touchdowns, yada, so on and so forth. And that kind of gets the ball rolling on hopefully a recruitment for you. Now, I'm not saying it's going to guarantee you over 50 Division I offers. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I mean, it's going to get you some. I know Guy Tubbs got a preferred walk-on offer from Kansas State this weekend. So there's an example of it. I'm not saying that was the reason for it, but I think it probably had some of that. Coulter Oldham, I think, got an offer from Minot State. I mean, it's going to become bigger and bigger to try and get your name out here in these situations, because guess what? Littler schools, and by littler schools, I mean your Division IIs, your FCFs, D1s, so your North Dakota states, your South Dakotas, your Northwest Missouri states, your Emporias, all of those type of schools are going to be looking for athletes, because guess what's going to happen to their good athletes? They're going to hit the transfer portal and they're going to move up, and they're always going to have holes to fill. And they're going to need to have a little bit more depth in their recruiting in order to fill those holes. And so these are prime examples of athletes going out there, putting down numbers, and hopefully getting the attention of some of these coaches to come here. Like I said, Coulter Oldham didn't have an offer going into this past week, and now he's got an offer from Minot State. It's a prime example there. Now, once again, Minot State is not Oklahoma State, but it's still a collegiate offer. to go play
big deal
somewhere. It's a big deal.
It is.
Don't just because it's Division II or FCS or heck even Division III, it's still an offer. And particularly if it's Division II and above, if you get an offer from that, you should really be proud about that.
That's absolutely true. And it is just a great opportunity to get your name out there. Jackson Rumford also got a Fort Hays State offer. We were talking about D2 offers. And above, obviously, a phenomenal three-sport
in what
athlete.
Sport?
Really.
Four-sport athlete. You're missing it. Remember, football, basketball, track and field where he throw the javelin great, and golf. He's a four-sport guy.
And he's phenomenal in all of them. It's wild.
Yes, he's amazing.
But FHSU gave him an offer after the event. For Jackson, you mentioned that offer for Guy, a preferred walk-on at K-State, would be able to stay home or stay close to home just officially to get those numbers out there.
And he's taken a lot of visits to like South Dakota and North Dakota State. I think he's taken some visits up there to, just to kind of go take a peek and see what it is. So
both very good football programs.
Which we've talked about Guy Tubbs a lot on this show, just about how, he was – I always thought he was going to be a basketball guy, but that's the difference. If you're trying to be a basketball player where there's only 5 starting spots and probably only 12 to 13 spots on a team compared to 22 spots on a football field and needing a roster close to 50 or 60, 70 or above, there's just a better chance of you getting a chance to go play collegiate ball in football than you are in basketball. And as you've mentioned before on our show, Guy Tubbs being an undersized big, it's hard to recruit to that as well.
It is. And let's be clear on Guy. He could probably go play college, whatever he wants. We were talking about an all-around multiple sport athlete in Jackson Rumford. Got to throw Guy in there as well. An all-state honorable mention in football playing during the fall. Then when he plays during the winter, an all-state kid again. Then here in the spring, a state champ javelin thrower. I wouldn't be surprised. And I think it was off the air. I think it was after the show last Friday. We talked about, obviously, both of us being D2. A lot of the people we talk to, the athletes, will say it's really during the summers more than you would like it to be, especially in basketball with the AAU circuit. But during the summers and junior to senior year summer, these kids find their way to get a lot of love in the recruiting cycle. That's when it's the off season for all these assistant coaches who can go travel around and see these kids play. So hopefully for Guy, for Jackson Rumford, for all of our area athletes, especially those highlighted this past weekend by Kansas pregame, this is an opportunity to sort of kickstart something for them for the future.
It'll be fascinating to see where everybody lands. There's a lot of great talent in our region that could have the opportunity to go play somewhere if they choose to do so. And not just in football, Goodland's Brady Brumbaugh in basketball is really working hard to hunt down a scholarship at the D2 or above level. And
very talented,
and very talented young man. But that's a prime example. Like, you look at it, he's probably your league player of the year. Brady Brumbaugh was first team All-Stater. And he doesn't really have an offer that's D2 or above. That's the hard part about basketball, is that there's so limited spots on a roster. It's hard to go find a spot to get it filled. So and he's been playing. And it's not like he's just starting right now. He's been doing AAU ball for years.
Yeah,
it's a difficult sport to kind of crack into because of the limited amount of spots. So
real quick. Do you mind playing the breaking news sounder?
Yeah, I can do that for you.
Breaking news. As of 4 minutes ago, Adam Schefter reports a record deal. The Vikings, Minnesota Vikings, that is, and 3-time Pro Bowl wide receiver Justin Jefferson reached a deal on, get ready for these numbers, a 4-year, $140 million extension. And I'm not so good at math, but that makes him the highest paid non-quarterback, not only in the NFL, but in NFL history. The Vikings have locked down their wide receiver of the future.
35 mil a season.
Mm-hmm.
35 mil a season for a wide receiver.
Crazy money.
Times have just changed. They really have changed a whole lot if you think about it. Times have changed from, it used to be running backs that got all the money. Now the wide receivers get all the money. Now my question would be, okay, that's good. You lock down a wide receiver. Who's going to get him the ball? Is JJ McCarthy? Who's going to get him the ball? Is JJ McCarthy going to get that done?
Give me that JJ to JJ connection. I'd love for that to be the truth, but even if it's not, you just lost your all-pro quarterback. If JJ is a year or two experiment that doesn't go well, you grab him another one, because this is big time to have JJ that's Justin Jefferson, the other JJ, locked down for 4 years as an extension. So he's going to be in Minnesota for a long time. It does give them a little bit of leeway here to maybe be a little bit more, not risky, but McCarthy, I think, is in a great, and we talked about this after the draft, is in a great position as a rookie. He's got a fair amount of weapons around him and an offensive line that's sort of middle of the pack, which is seemingly these days more than you can ask as a rookie quarterback. I'd be very interested to see how that connection goes, because you're exactly right. That is the question mark. Who's going to get him the darn football?
Yeah, $140 million is nice when he can catch and score touchdowns. It's not so nice when you can't get the ball to him. So we'll see how it all rolls out for them.
We did have someone along the text, Jared on the text line, ask how much of that is guaranteed. 4 years, $140 million is the total. $110 million of that is guaranteed. So for those of you that don't know, anything above that guaranteed line usually ends up being, you have to hit certain
incentives, performance bonuses.
Yeah, so play in certain number of games, hit certain number of yards. Sometimes it's things like make the Super Bowl or something along those lines. But 110 total guaranteed.
Incentive based, yes, on that kind of deal. Which I'm all for, incentive-based contracts and all kinds of stuff. As you should be. The show before. As you should be. You have to give me incentive-based contracts. Stop paying for people that don't do anything. Anyway, we're on winners of the weekend. I've got a big winner I really got just one big winner of the weekend, and it is Kansas State baseball is a massive winner of the weekend for just the second time in the program's history, and for the first time in 11 years to the day, the Kansas State Wildcats are going to a super regional in baseball. They win the Fayetteville Regional this past weekend in, I don't want to say shocking fashion, but I would say in pretty surprising fashion that the Wildcats get it done. They had to go to one of the more difficult places to play in Fayetteville, Arkansas. They had to withstand a weather delay where they started a game, they couldn't get it played. They had to go to the hotel, sleep, get up, and finish the game the next day, turn around and play 2 games on a Saturday, and then after going 2-0, sitting in the catbird seat, took care of Southeast Missouri on Sunday to advance to the Super Regionals. So, once again, Kansas State wallops Louisiana Tech in a game that took over. It started, had to go to sleep because of the weather delay, came back and finished it. So it took over 2 days to finish that game. They win 19-4. Then they pull off the massive upset, knocking off Arkansas 7-6, which Arkansas is a national seed. You're playing on their home field in front of their crazy ruckus fans. They get the win there, 7-6. And then because you're 2-0, you're in the catbird seat. That is the ultimate goal in the first round of regional baseball. Get to 2-0, because then everybody else has got to fight their way back, and Arkansas couldn't do it. Southeast Missouri was the team that did it, but by the time they got to Kansas State, they were completely running on fumes, and the Wildcats win easily 7-2. It was a great weekend for a guy that people need to start thinking about and remembering, especially if you're even a Major League Baseball fan, Kalen Culpepper, the shortstop who can also play third base for Kansas State. He hit for the cycle in the game against Louisiana Tech. He went 4 for 5, a single, a double, a triple, and a homer. He also had a 3-run blast against Arkansas, which proved to kind of be not the difference in the game, but it was a big, big part of that win over Arkansas. And the K-State bats just continue to stay hot all weekend. They were great. Pete Hughes has got to be a guy who never really seems to be that happy Whenever they talk to him or you see him on TV, he always seems to look kind of gruff. But he has to be ecstatic because his team is going to a Super Regional for the first time since 2013 when they went to the Corvallis Super Regional and lost to Oregon State. But they are just 2 wins away from a first ever College World Series appearance if they're able to knock off Virginia in Charlottesville coming up this next weekend. So they have to go to Virginia, take on a very good Virginia team in their home stadium. But guess what? You've already done that if you're Kansas State. You've knocked off what people would consider a better team in Arkansas. And now you just got to win 2 more games. And it won't be easy, but at the same time, a heck of a weekend for them. And Kansas State, by the way, they got that win on Saturday night over Arkansas against the SEC Pitcher of the Year, which is pretty much considered the national Pitcher of the Year when it's all said and done in Hagen Smith. The road that they took to get this done is highly impressive. And for Pete Hughes and the Wildcats, they're my winners of the weekend. What a weekend it was for them. Unbelievably impressive.
Why historically impressive. I'm seeing a couple different options for the dates that they're playing this weekend. Is there a time set for that? I haven't seen. They
usually wait till everything is set in stone. Okay. And so there's still a few games that are in series that are yet to be decided today. So there's Oregon State, UC Irvine, which has a weather delay. They have to come back and finish that game. But if Oregon State holds on to the score that it is currently right now, that Oregon State will advance into the Super Regional round. But there are 4 games that have to be played today to decide the final spot in the regionals. And so you've got East Carolina, Evansville, Oklahoma State, Florida, North Carolina, LSU, and UConn, Oklahoma are 4 games that have to be played today to decide who will advance to the Super Regional round and fill the rest of the bracket. Because teams like K-State, Oregon, Virginia have already made it there. Let's see if I can find a few more for you here real quickly. Tennessee, Texas A&M, Clemson, Kentucky, Georgia, Florida State. Those teams have all punched their tickets to the finals, or not to the finals, but to the Super Regionals, I should say, to the round of 16. Is where they will be. So a few more games to be decided today, and then they'll set the times on when it will start for Kansas State. But a great opportunity for them, and what a weekend it was for them and Kalen Culpepper and their entire team. That was a huge weekend for them.
Absolutely. Congratulations to the Cats, and might actually get me watching college baseball, which is a big deal.
If you didn't watch it this past weekend, you're probably not going to watch it because it was on.
Not with that attitude.
It was glorious. It was glorious. It was so good. Do you have any other quick winners of the weekend before we get to break here?
I've got a super, super quick one because I have no background, no whatever information. A famous caddy, I didn't know him, but I guess he's a legend of the game, Mike Fluff Cohen, nickname Fluff. Mike Cohen slipped and fell on a rainy Sunday. Yeah, at the Canadian Open. This was yesterday, I believe, early in the day, caddying for CT Pan. And guess who stepped in to fill that spot to carry the bag? I doubt he really gave very many green readings or anything along those lines. But a random fan,
that's just right.
Some guy just came under the wire, under the rope, picked up the bag. That had to be a lifelong memory.
It was like a scene out of, Tin Cup or even The Greatest Game Ever Played, where he didn't have a caddy, just pulled a fan out of the crowd. Please just carry the bag, please. Yeah, that's a great story. That really is good. Even the guy who won the Canadian Open, McIntyre, his dad carried the bag for him and they won, which was pretty cool to see. So some interesting caddy stories at the RBC Canadian Open this past weekend. And speaking of Canada, my last winner of the weekend is Canadian hockey, because guess what, folks? The Edmonton Oilers are in the finals. They defeat the Dallas Stars 2-1 last night, punching the final spot into the Stanley Cup Finals. It'll be the Florida Panthers and the Edmonton Oilers. Talk about 2 different climates between Florida and Edmonton. But Edmonton in the finals. Can you tell me, quiz question of the day. So They are the first Canadian team to be in the Stanley Cup Finals since 2021. Can you tell me the last year that a Canadian team, which hockey is the national sport of Canada.
Yeah.
When is the last time a Canadian franchise won a Stanley Cup? Quiz
Won a
question of
Stanley
Monday.
Cup?
Won it.
2014.
I would have been a whopping 4 years old. 1993 is the last time a team from the country that considers hockey to be the national sport to win a Stanley Cup was 1993.
Wow.
Yes. 1993. That long. So will the streak come to an end? Will Edmonton get it done, or will it be Florida? Florida, by the way, is the betting favorite at this point in time, but still, nonetheless, Canada hockey, a winner of the weekend. They have a chance of ending a terrible, terrible drought that they find themselves in. All right, there you go. Our weekend winners from this past weekend. Let's get to timeout. We'll come back. Losers, which I'm not going to lie, the loser list is pretty short for me.
Yeah,
so we'll get to that real quickly and get to the leftovers as well. Stick around. It's a Monday edition of the Morning Blitz.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. In the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-885-3100. That's 800-885-3100. 800-885-3100.
If your vehicle's tires are tired out, well, get tired up at Great Western Tire, where they have tire pros that know how to equip your rig with the tread and the type of tire for the way you drive. Great Western Tire carries name brands like Goodyear and take advantage of tire specials for tractors, trucks, SUVs, cars, and ATVs. Tires for your entire operation at Great Western Tire of Oakley, Colby, Hoxie, Scott City, and Sterling, Colorado. They buy in big volume with big discounts, which means big savings to you.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Monday, June 3rd. And on the overnights last night, July corn traded higher 2 1/4 at 448.5. September up 2 at 456. December up 2 1/4 at 469 1/4. And March corn up 1 3/4 at 481 1/4. July soybeans lower 7 3/4 on the overnight at 11.97 1/4. August down 7.5 at 11.96. September down 6 1/4 at 11.78 1/4. And November beans down 5 at 11.79 1/2. Chicago wheat July contract higher 18.5 at 6.97. September up 18.5 at 7.18. December up 18 1/4 at 7.41 3/4. And March soft wheat up 18 at 7.58 1/4. Kansas City wheat July contract higher 19 1/4 at 7.28. September up 18 3/4 at 7.42. December up 18 at 7.59 3/4. And March hard wheat up 17 3/4 at 7.72 1/2. On the stock market this morning, the Dow down 5 at 38,786. The S&P up 11 at 5,306. The Nasdaq up 94, 18,685. Gold higher $8.50 an ounce at 2,354. And crude oil down 28 cents a barrel at 76.71. If you have any questions about marketing growing and would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hanke at 970-744-4484. Or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Saluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
At Case IH, we know you work hard all year to maximize your yield at harvest. And to do that, you need a combine that works as hard as you do. That's why we built the new AF11 with more horsepower, more efficiency, and more capacity than any other combine out there. Plus, built-in automation to harvest more easily than ever before. To do more with every engine hour, you need equipment that's as good as you are. You need the best in your field. Visit your local Case IH dealer for more on the AF11.
There are a lot of inconsistencies when growing soybeans. The soil, the weather, the market. You need something you can count on, like Revitech fungicide from BASF. It consistently outyields other fungicides by up to 9.5 bushels per acre, consistently wins in on-farm head-to-head comparisons, and consistently makes for happy farmers. Revitech fungicide. Visit revxfields.com for full results. Always read and follow label directions. Yield data based on summary of 2019 through 2022 RevX field scale demonstration trials.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the Insurance Agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
Hey, it's Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks, and you're listening to my main man, Ross Volkmer. He may be a Husker, but he also knows how to rock chalk. And you're listening to the Morning Blitz right here on 102.5 You Rock.
We certainly went long on the winners this weekend. Honestly, because just don't have a lot of losers this
way
weekend,
more
to
winners,
be honest
for
with you. Way more winners. Glad you're with us on the Morning Blitz. Hit us up on the text line at 785-899-2222. We got a lot of new sponsors coming onto the Blitz here as of late. We'll get to those new sponsors here this week. But anyway, who's your loser of the weekend? You have a loser?
Probably my golf game. But no, I've got I posted some videos of me golfing on social media. Love seeing all the comments of people trying to be nice, but it's like, keep your head down. No, you're bringing your head up too much. You got to swing through it. You're bringing your hips too far back. No, you got to bring them more forward. They're all trying to be helpful, but they're all like, yeah, it's tough. It's tough. So yeah,
that
is
is
a loser
hilarious.
in my golf game, but a true loser of the weekend. And I honestly debated about putting this in the winner category because it's a little of both. But we're going to call the Indiana Fever a weekend. I don't know. Are they winners or losers? I guess it's sort of a you decide. They're a little of both because they're 2-9, second worst record in the league. They have the WNBA, that is. This is the team that drafted
Caitlin Clark plays for, yes.
Who has been sort of having an up and down season for them. Decent numbers, totals-wise, right around. I mean, she's playing all right ball, but it's very inefficient ball. So she's putting up, where is this? Nearly 16 points, almost 6.5 assists, 5 boards, steal and a half, a full block. However, 5.5 turnovers, 36% from the field, and under 30% from three are all, of course, terrible numbers. Her team has a minus 13.1 point differential, which is by far the worst in the W. On the other hand, they have played just 5 home games so far this season and have broke the Fever's attendance record from last year. That's right, Indiana has already topped their total attendance from every single home game from last year combined in just 5 this season. So they're selling tickets. They're not winning games. Are they a winner or a loser of the weekend? I guess you decide.
They were smacked by the Liberty yesterday, 104-68.
Somehow
They're
smacked is an
definitely
understatement.
not a winner. Caitlin Clark is getting beat up like physically, which is where my loser of the weekend falls on Kennedy Carter of the Chicago Sky for not cold cocking, but just pretty much giving the old shoulder shiv to Caitlin Clark and then acting like nothing happened, saying that's basketball. That's not basketball. She's standing there waiting to take the inbounds pass, and you just shoulder cock her, just boom, right there into the floor. That's what's the word?
PJ Tucker basketball.
Yeah, I mean that's not real basketball. So you can say what you want. Growing pains are hard for Caitlin Clark. She's not really, honestly, she's just not big enough. Like, she's got to get more physical. She's got to put on some more muscle and some size at times. It feels like she's getting really roughed up by people who set screens and things like that. I'm not saying she's got to go out there and get yoked or anything like that, but I think she's just got to get a little bit more physical and a little bit more built if that's going to help her out a little bit. So I don't know. That was the lone loser I could find truly from the weekend. Was Kennedy Carter in that shoulder shiv that she gave Caitlin Clark, which was not needed. It was not needed. It wasn't necessary. There was nothing that I don't think there's. Once again, I was not watching the game. I just saw the house. I don't think there was anything going on that Caitlin did or said that deserved that. I don't know that for a fact, but that just seemed to be unnecessary. You can definitely tell that a lot of the players in the WNBA are not liking Caitlin Clark's popularity.
If there is one thing,
it's kind of funny. It's a bunch of jealousy is what it really is, because Caitlin Clark is bringing a ton of fans to the games in a sport that doesn't draw fans really at all. Yet the players don't like that Caitlin Clark is doing this, from what it seems like to me.
If there is one thing I've learned over the past, say, 2 months, 3 months since March Madness has ended and we sort of started into the combine and the draft cycle and now the season for the WNBA, if there's one thing that I've learned in that time, it's that no one loves keeping the WNBA in the dark like WNBA players. My goodness. The amount of hate, and you can call it hate, you can call it maybe
it's a plan. Maybe it's a plan. Maybe they're like, well, let's just make a bunch of drama around the most popular player to draw more eyes. Maybe it's a deep, dark plan.
Then I think it was a really bad plan, because there's no drama. It's just all the fans dislike all the WNBA players from Caitlin, because I've never seen, and there was a little bit when LeBron came into the league saying he wasn't going to be that good and we had players better than him at his position, blah, blah, blah. Current Cavs players saying that when LeBron James got drafted. But I've never in my time covering, watching, following sports seen this much friction and jealousy from an established crowd in the league among actual players at an incoming superstar. It sort of confuses
Let's hold off
me.
on superstar. We don't know that yet. She was a superstar in college. That doesn't mean she's a superstar now. But I guess
nothing. I'll take all the stats away.
Celebrity,
maybe. Perfect. Yes. Celebrity.
Why? Okay, we've got to get to a break. But why do you think there is this amount of jealousy?
Because we've worked on our games for so long, and we've built and worked, and we've flown on these public flights and done whatever. And she snaps her fingers and appears, and before she even steps onto a WNBA court, basically single-handedly brings charter flights to the league in quintuples and more the popularity of the league and all of these things. My guess is the players feel like they put in all this work and now it's someone else getting the spotlight. But again, don't know.
It's an interesting story. Anyway, loser of the weekend, Kennedy Carter from the Chicago Sky, my loser of the weekend here. All right, let's get to our final break. We'll come back. We'll hit up with the leftovers, a few final things to get to next. You're listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Monday.
When you walk into your local Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, you'll see that Nick and the staff have a little bit of everything for the warmer months ahead. Keep the lawn in shape with mowers, blowers, and trimmers from Craftsman, Toro, and Ego. Freshen up the look of a room or the whole place with Benjamin Moore paints. Keep the family fed and happy with grills from Traeger, Weber, and Blackstone. And be sure to take advantage of the lower lumber prices. Plus, they're looking for people to join their amazing teams at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, with locations in Goodland and Colby. Open every day but Sunday.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment, or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Stephanie Dole with F&B Bank. At F&B, we offer many different types of deposits accounts to help you achieve your financial goals. Whether it be personal checking or savings, business checking account, or a variety of CD options, we're here to help. Stop by our bank directly east at the post office in Goodland or call 785-890-2000 to begin working with me or another F&B Bank team member. F&B Bank, member FDIC.
Hey, it's Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks.
A two-hand follow jam is true for Josh Jackson.
And you're listening to the Morning Blitz with my main man, Ross Volkmer, right here on 102.5 You Rock.
Couple things to get to in the leftovers here on a Monday. Royals end up getting a walk-off win on Sunday over the Padres. 4-3. That was able to end a 3-game skid for Kansas City, who's really kind of fallen on some hard times here over the last week or so. But able to get a walk-off winner thanks to a sacrifice fly from Nick Lofton after a Nelson Velasquez 2 RBI pinch hit triple, which is impressive. The Rockies, they took game 1 against the Dodgers, end up losing the next couple of games, including 4-0 on Sunday. The offense in Colorado shut out for the 7th time this season as they lose. The Rockies are back on the diamond today. They are at home hosting Cincinnati, 6:40 Mountain Time first pitch. The Royals have a day off and a big 3-game series coming up at Cleveland on Tuesday, trying to gain some ground there on the AL leaders.
Yeah, before that walk-off yesterday, the Royals had lost 6 of their previous 7 games. And we talked about them sort of being right up in that mix at the top of the Central. Still the case, but 4 games back, and exactly what Ross said, hit the nail on the head. A great opportunity, but also just a big series, them against Cleveland, to make up some of that ground.
And we could have thrown I could have thrown the losers of the weekend there with the Royals, but I'm not going to do that quite yet. They had such a great stretch that you're going to have a few hard times every now and then. So I'm not going to throw them under the bus. But it has been, like you said, a very tough stretch. Losers of 6 of their last 7, and it could get even worse with Cleveland this upcoming next week. That could be very, very challenging.
It makes no sense. That team's playing such great baseball.
Also, the Women's College World Series continues to move along in Oklahoma City. Last night, a couple more elimination games. You had Florida take down fellow SEC foe Alabama 6-4. Stanford stays alive. By the way, their pitcher for Stanford was a Topeka High graduate, for those who don't know. But Stanford defeated UCLA 3-1 yesterday to advance. So Stanford and Florida move on. Alabama and UCLA are headed home. Now, the real tough task for Florida and Stanford today, they have to win 2 games. In order. So right now, sitting in the, as I like to call the catbird seat, is Oklahoma and Texas. They are the favorites to play for the national title starting tomorrow. Well, if that's not going to happen, that means that Florida is going to have to knock off Oklahoma pretty much in a true road game environment. In 2 consecutive games. Good luck with that. And Stanford's going to have to beat Texas in 2 consecutive games. And if not, we will see Oklahoma and Texas, 2 previous Big 12 teams, now going to the SEC, facing off in the Women's College World Series starting tomorrow night. So we'll see how that all shakes out with down there in OKC starting tonight. So anyway, let's get to the walk-off, and we'll wrap things up here on a Monday.
A 3-run walk-off
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion, that baby's gone.
I did forget to mention Nebraska baseball, who was the only other area team still playing in the college baseball. Their season is over. They lost to Florida on Friday, 7-4, I think was the final score of that one. Then they turn around and they beat Niagara, stay alive in that. But then it had take on Florida again, who then put up 17 runs in a 17-11 ball game. I don't know if it's just Nebraska's pitching is just in the grand scheme of things not very good. That could certainly be the case. But I'm telling you, Florida absolutely hit the living daylights out of the ball in a ballpark that is the size of a postage stamp. And so there was even a ball hit by Jack Caglione that left the entire facility. It left the facility. It was on the track and field over in right field. I don't know what it's like. And then watching Florida play some other games, they still hit the ball a ton, but not as much. So it must be Nebraska pitching. But it was season comes to an end, 40-22, a little disheartening. But hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. That's baseball, as they say. That is baseball. Anyway, any final words for us in the last 30 seconds?
Yeah, we talked some NHL earlier. The Oilers making it to the Stanley Cup Finals. Only 2 players in NHL history have more than 25 assists in a single postseason before even getting to the Stanley Cup Finals. Gretzky in 85 and now Connor McDavid this year.
Did you see his stick work on that goal last night?
Magical. Magical.
Oh, I'm pulling for Edmonton, baby. I want to see Canada get it. See you tomorrow on the Blitz.